The referee blew the final whistle, sealing Spain's hard-fought 1-0 victory. But in that exact second, the scoreline didn't matter to the world. What mattered was the crushing weight of the moment hitting Cristiano Ronaldo all at once. The sudden, jarring realization that his legendary World Cup career had come to a permanent end. It was a burden simply too heavy to bear. For a man who had spent over 2 decades defying gravity, shattering impossible records, and demanding absolute perfection from himself and everyone around him, the finality of this defeat completely broke him. Ronaldo collapsed to the turf, burying his face in his hands as the first agonizing wave of overwhelming grief washed over him. His chest heaved with heavy, ragged sobs. Underneath the iconic red jersey, his shoulders shook uncontrollably. Blurry shots of Spanish players jumping and hugging in the background, out of focus. The camera refocuses sharply on Ronaldo, sitting shattered in the center of the pitch. Around him, the joyous, deafening celebrations of the Spanish team became nothing more than a distant blur of white noise. He sat there, entirely shattered, weeping openly on the grandest stage in world sports. Peeking through his fingers, his eyes were bloodshot, filled with absolute heartbreak, staring blankly at the grass, processing an ending he never wanted to write. Portuguese teammates and coaching staff rushing to his side. They kneel beside him, placing supportive hands on his back and offering quiet words of comfort. Teammates and coaching staff rushed to his side. They offered quiet words of comfort, placing supportive hands on his back. But in this moment, Ronaldo was entirely inconsolable. The raw emotion of a 23-year international journey was pouring out in a flood of tears. A journey ending not with the glittering trophy he chased his entire life, but because of a single, agonizing moment on the pitch. You could see the sheer frustration of the late goal mixing with the brutal truth. Time had finally run out. Ronaldo pulls himself up. His face is wet with tears. He keeps his head bowed, wiping his eyes with the collar of his jersey. The camera follows him from behind as he begins the long walk to the tunnel. When he finally managed to pull himself up to his feet, he kept his head bowed, wiping his eyes with the collar of his shirt in a futile attempt to hide his vulnerability. As he began the long, painful walk toward the tunnel, he looked up one last time at the roaring stands. He offered a faint, tearful wave to the supporters, chanting his name in consolation. His face twisted in pure grief. It was an incredibly emotional and heartbreaking final image. One of football's greatest giants leaving the grandest stage of all, not in a flash of glory, but in a quiet, devastating storm of tears.